Hello and welcome to the weekly reading. I'm sure you can see the Piscean influence in the setup today and also the Venusian influence because we start the week with the new moon in Pisces and Venus in her last moments of being in a sign she's very happy with, being Pisces, but then she progresses into Aries. And I feel like that is showing up very, very strongly in this week's reading. So I've got the oil Forgive and pink pepper. I've got lots of sort of magical pearls of wisdom kind of energy through the crystals, a lot of shimmery reflection. And it feels to me as we move into a new cycle, because the sun has just moved into Pisces, the moon comes in to meet the sun right at the beginning of the sign for a new moon. We've been having a lot of early new moon, early degree new moons for the last little while. And this is our second to last of these, because what's going to happen is this is new moon in Pisces in the first degree of Pisces. And then next month we will have a very early new moon in Aries, followed by a late degree Aries new moon. So we'll have two Aries new moons. And this particular one, when we're in the end stages of a cycle, I don't know if you've watched my new moon forecast on YouTube, but it'll give you a deeper insight to the ending beginning kind of theme of this new moon. But what's happening is just after the new moon, Venus moves into Aries, and basically she's going to touch in to the point where we're going to have the following new moon. And I have a feeling, looking at these cards, that this is quite an important theme for us for this week. This being in this emotional Piscean state and watching for what is to come with our Aries energy next month. So pick a number between 1 and 4 and let's jump in and see what you get. Our whole reading looks like this. We've got upside down, right way up, upside down, right way up. So we're on a little bit of a roller coaster in some ways. And it's also the fiery energy that's turned upside down, which already gives me a bit of a clue to that Aries and that Martian kind of energy. Venus is moving into a Mars-ruled sign, and our next new moon is at a Mars-ruled sign. And the following new moon in Aries, in fact, is an eclipse. So there is big Aries energy showing up for me at the moment in this reading, even though I can feel that strong Piscean space that we're in. But it's like we're in the birth canal in Pisces to be born through Aries. And also, the month of March is really a very, very big month for us astrologically. And it feels like this Pisces new moon is kind of preparing us. It's those final throes of preparation before Saturn changes sign into Pisces on the 7th, I believe, of next month. And the 20, maybe 4th, I might be wrong about my dates. Pluto moves into Aquarius. This is a really, really big deal to have these two archetypal karmic powerhouses moving within 2 weeks of each other into a sign. And neither of them move into a new sign very fast. It takes Saturn 2.5 to 3 years, and it's taken Pluto around 15 years to move signs now, and he will be in Aquarius for 20 years. Bearing in mind, he's not staying in Aquarius now. He's just going to spend a few months this year. Then he goes back for a little visit back into Capricorn to make sure he's cleared all his unfinished business before he moves back in. But this is a very big deal for us. And this reading for me, I know I'm spending quite a bit of time on this, but this reading for me is really an opportunity for us to dig into what is showing up for us before this kind of cacophony of headstrong forward movement. And this is in fact an Aries card. You can see we've got the ram horns here. He's sitting on a throne that is Mars itself. And there's an element of business and strategy with the chess piece to him, but he's very relaxed. Unfortunately, when this is upside down, the ultimate emperor energy, it's a major arcana as well, that emperor energy of being the ideal masculine powerhouse that he is, the contrast to the empress, the card before him, he in his upside down, it could be, where is the power going wrong? Now, this is important because we've just had a Mars retrograde. We've got Venus moving into a Mars sign. We then have the next two new moons will be in Aries, Mars's sign. One of them will be an eclipse. And Pluto has a strong powerhouse energy. He's making a big shift too. So where is your power going wrong? Are you giving away your power? Are you domineering and dominating? Are you abusing your power? I would really look at your personal, especially if you chose this card, but your personal relationship to power. And it may be different in different dynamics, but how is that playing out for you right now? And get really honest with yourself here, because none of us want to look at those shadow traits of ours. But there's something shadowy coming up here. And if we deal with it now, if we allow ourselves to reflect upon it now, it'll certainly make it easier when we get to those points at which we can't avoid it any longer, which are imminent. So start to get okay with where your relationship with power is going wrong. And don't try to correct it, rather kind of be open to watching yourself for now, and then just be in that sort of witnessing consciousness, and then open yourself to solutions. Like ask yourself the question, how can I redress the balance? And the Two of Swords is an air card. So we've got no cups in this reading. We've got one major arcana, one swords, which is our mental, one wands, which is our drive. So it comes back to the Martian type of energy, and one pentacles, which is materialization. But new moon in Pisces is ultimate water. So I feel like the actual energy this week has a lot of water, but the cards are reflecting where else we need to reflect with the use of the water, because water is reflective. And the Two of Swords, there are no eyes involved in this. She needs to see beyond the most dominant sense. The crows are helping to unravel some of the old thinking that has gotten her stuck, because she's finding herself at a crossroads. And it's a difficult place to be, because the old ways of being and thinking and doing often lead us to do that again. But that beautiful adage, if you do what you did, you'll get what you got, really rings true here. Because if we look at where our relationship with power is going awry, and oftentimes, I mean, the idea of having power is to feel safe, to feel in control. I have the power. I am in charge. I am in control. I am safe. And when you take away the sight, like in the second card, and you unravel all the things that used to make you think you felt safe, then it sort of becomes a very vulnerable space, of what feels very uncomfortable and unsafe and insecure. And yet this is where we kind of need to get to. And then with the Knight of Wands in protection, it's kind of like a bit of a kicking off. Making a big song and dance about your emotions, particularly the hot emotions. So this is also going to link to our power plays. And hot emotions, for those of us who don't do well with letting people see us vulnerable, letting people see us blue, and in the cool emotions, might be quick to show the hot emotions, because actually it's a bit of an evasive technique. I'd rather that you see me angry and throwing a tantrum than that you realize how scared and vulnerable I am beneath. So, as I say, there's no cups in this reading, but I am getting a deep, deep vulnerability showing through in these cards. And these cards are kind of like the ways that we avoid expressing the vulnerability and dealing with the vulnerability by putting on all this, pomp and ceremony of how we kick off and how we avoid. And Pisces can be a sign of how do we numb ourselves from what's really going on. And a lot of the reading here is speaking to that for me. It's speaking to, if we are able to see where that is our pattern, we will be able to begin to unravel that pattern, as in the Two of Swords. And then instead of getting like a little tantruming young masculine energy, which is the Knight of Wands, and the upside down Emperor, he's an older masculine energy, also upside down. So you can see that we're taking our masculine drive, our Mars energy, and this is not to do with your gender, remember that. We're taking that and we're messing it up right now. We're just doing our masculine stuff all wrong in this week's reading. We just don't want to allow ourselves to be the wise masculine. So we're kind of throwing tantrums and rages, and just, you can see a temper tantruming kind of, I want what I want and I want it my way now. And that actually isn't engendering sort of love and support from the people around you. So in order to avoid that Knight of Wands being upside down by unraveling some of the old patterns, the right way up, that's such a lovely card of joy and passion and enthusiasm and, you know, really just a good energy. And upside down, it's just throwing a tantrum, being that aggressive youth who thinks that he can get what he wants. And I'm saying he again, even though in this card it's a woman depicted, but just because it is our masculine energy showing out. And actually Venus, who is the ultimate in feminine expression, going into a Mars-ruled sign, is definitely for those of us women who have a lot of fire in our chart and tend to be more masculine dominant, you're going to feel that energy. So it's not about whether you're a man or a woman with this kind of energy. And then finally we end with the Five of Pentacles, which is upright, but it's a 5. It's never the easy route. The key is there. The door is right by the key. And if you just stop feeling so stuck, you can open that lock and see what lies behind the door. But there is a level of fear. And if you think about it, both the Two of Swords and the Five of Pentacles aren't looking or can't see. So it's about a sense of feeling. With the Two of Swords, she's a little bit more open in her posture to sort of tuning in and feeling out the choice, feeling out the direction, using her other senses. But in the Five of Pentacles, she's a bit apathetic. She's kind of lost her motivation. And I find this with the 5 cards. My way personally about integrating these 5 cards is to kind of go, okay, it's a bit of a pity party moment on the hero's journey. It's where we kind of just feel like, I'm halfway down the path. I think I'm too far to go back. I can't see the end. I'm just tired and depleted, and I don't know what to do. And I actually have started to come to, instead of feeling super frustrated with 5s, is to feel that sense of, maybe I just need to have a moment of feeling that. Maybe I need to feel despondent and down in the dumps, but don't stay there. Because if you're in that space and you're using it just to rest and reboot, to reflect, and this week is so about reflecting, then it's actually quite useful. But then you've got to pull yourself up by your bootstraps, get your masculine energy turned around, because it's our masculine energy that gives us the drive to keep going, to do life every day. So you don't want to get stuck in this Five of Pentacles, but instead of resisting it vehemently, give yourself an hour, give yourself a day, whatever it is, and then pull yourself up and say, right, I've got all the answers inside of me. I hold the key. I just need to trust in myself, back myself. And again, come back to your relationship with power. What is my relationship with power? And is there something I can do to balance that out more? Am I giving away my power? How do I take my power back? Am I becoming powerful in the sense of using my power over others? How can I bring that back? Either way, whichever extreme direction your Martian type of energy is going, I want you to just breathe. Don't judge yourself when you see it. That's quite an important part about trying to turn these things around. Recognizing it is the first step, and taking time to reflect and give yourself the time and space to see these things is so important. And when you do, you just give yourself a pat on the back for figuring that out, and take some time as you recognize that the change doesn't necessarily happen instantaneously. Sometimes it does, but more often than not, it's a process. So be gentle with yourself. Have a beautiful week, and I look forward to connecting with you next week. And I really appreciate all the shares, likes, subscribes, follows, and comments. Thanks for watching.